Please welcome Undersecretary of Commerce for International Trade, William Kimmitt, in conversation with ITI's Jason Oxman.
I took the low road, you took the high road. That was good. They're all clapping for you.
Thought you left me hanging.
They're all clapping for you. Undersecretary Kimmitt, thanks so much for taking time out of what I know is a busy schedule for you. Really appreciate it, and I know the audience arrayed here is really excited to hear about what's going on at ITA. So, first and foremost, I'd welcome the opportunity to hear a little bit at a high level about your priorities for helping the U.S. tech industry succeed globally, about what you're working on to encourage U.S. exports globally. ITA has a lot going on, and it'd be helpful to hear what you're prioritizing in the coming weeks and months.
Yeah, well, thank you, Jason, for the invitation. It's great to be here. Thank you to ITI. You guys are really wonderful partners as we sort of think through things at ITA, and you've hosted us at other fora and come in and met with us and helped us think about things that are important to American tech, and really appreciate the opportunity to be here. ITA, I really do believe I have one of the great jobs in Washington. We have people throughout the world. We have a network of a U.S. commercial service throughout the country, and then we have the foreign commercial service all over the world. And you said it, we're trying to drive exports and then also drive investment in the United States. And we have 3 bureaus. We have our global markets, we have industry and analysis, and we have enforcement and compliance. And we really do touch a lot of things. We do the CFIUS, the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, comes through us, so we have a national security dimension. But really it's helping drive exports and helping American companies be successful abroad, and then driving investment in the United States.
That's great. Well, speaking of driving investment in the United States, President Trump has been very clear, not surprising, he's a businessman. He is laser focused on driving business deals, both for companies coming into the United States internationally to invest here, and for US companies as well. So let's drill down a little bit about the role that ITA plays in driving business for U.S. companies. What programs do you have coming up that you're particularly excited about, and what's kind of the role of ITA in driving business for American companies around the world?
Sure. So within ITA, we have something called Select USA, which is sort of the premier foreign direct investment driver into the United States. We have a huge summit coming up. I hope to get everyone in attendance interested in joining. It's in May. It's a really great event that we do here locally. And so our Select USA office works with our foreign commercial service, works with our U.S. commercial service, and helps drive investment in the United States. I think I have the number right. I think we were involved in driving $139 billion of investment in the United States last year.
Wow.
And then, of course, in my role, I have the honor of working alongside and for Secretary Lutnick and supporting him as we pursue these trade deals throughout the world. And of course, the investment piece is a very big part of those deals, and really bringing in just massive investment in the United States. So we sort of have our traditional channel through Select USA, but also with the President's deals and these deals that Secretary Lutnick has worked on driving investment in the United States.
And the pace of it is remarkable, the right word? Is it incredible? I mean, it's almost a daily announcement. We saw news from the president yesterday about India investment in the U.S., which is really important. I know you and I are both heading to the AI summit in Delhi in just about 10 days from now. So looking forward to being there with you and helping the American AI export story. And related to that is an initiative that you have underway that we've had a chance to talk about before, and our team has been helping provide input to, and that's the AI export proceeding that you have underway. I think this is a great example. The American AI export program is a great example of the work that you do and your team does to help advance business interests of American companies. Can we talk about that for a minute? And I'd love to start with where you are in the process, because you had this notice that you put out asking for input on how that should work. And I know your team's been working hard on kind of the next phase there. Where are we in the process there? And let's talk about what you're looking for from industry to make it a success.
Sure. And when I thanked you and ITI at the beginning, I was thinking specifically about
Great.
that program. I mean, your companies and ITI specifically have been fantastic in helping us think about that. We have a great team that's working on the AI exports program. This was something called for by President Trump in an executive order. We at Commerce are leading in those efforts, but we're doing it with Director Kratsios at OSTP and the State Department. And where we are in the process, I mean, we really wanted to make sure that we were getting things right and doing things that actually will help industry. So the first thing we did was we put out a request for information from the industry, and ITI was helpful in their members in sort of submitting comments, and we got hundreds of responses that were incredibly helpful. And we've been digesting those and thinking about how we can best promote U.S. tech abroad, how we can shape this program, how we can incentivize companies appropriately, but also understand the challenges that U.S. companies have faced abroad and what we can do as a government to support American tech and make it successful globally. And that's what the president's called on us to do. And so where we are is we're still digesting, we're crafting the program, but we hope to have some exciting announcements coming soon.
That's great. Well, we look forward to that. I think one of the most important things that you've talked publicly about and that you have directed your team to work on is making sure the definition of the AI stack is broad. By which I mean AI stack obviously includes AI, the algorithms, large language models, but it's also the hardware, the software, the clouds, the security, all of those elements in there. So I want to ask you, given how broad this is and how many U.S. companies are eager to contribute to this process and find success, what is your measure of success here? When you look back on this program months or years from now, what are you going to be hoping that you can reflect on? What are the measures for success? And how are you talking to the team at Commerce about how they should view the success of this program and how you'll measure it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, it's really massive when you think of it conceptually, like the full American tech stack and what we can do to support it. And so that's why I'm so thankful to have such a great team that's really drilling into those details and working with you and your companies to really think about these things and get things right. I mean, the measure of success is, we care about outcomes. We would care about exports. And so, introducing American tech to parts of the world that otherwise wouldn't pursue it, or our companies would have challenges sort of succeeding in those markets. We want to basically look in competitive areas that are hungry for this. I mean, we're at a pivotal moment globally in terms of tech advancement, and we think we have the best solution to offer the world, and it's our job to make sure that the rest of the world understands that, and how can we as the U.S. government facilitate those. So success is really driving the exports of the American AI tech stack globally and bringing it to markets and seeing our great companies succeed in markets where without the president's leadership and without Secretary Lutnick, they may not have had that opportunity.
Yeah. That's great to see, and we're looking forward to supporting the continued work as we get ready to launch the program. And then I know you've got a team around the world, really literally embedded in embassies and U.S. government operations around the world that are looking forward to implementing this as well. So we'll continue to work together to make it a success. That's only a piece of your portfolio. ITA also has responsibility for making sure to address barriers that U.S. companies face around the world to doing business successfully. And you've talked a lot about the non-tariff barriers, in particular, barriers to entry, barriers to competing effectively around the world. And obviously the Commerce Department spends a lot of time, the Secretary travels the world talking to other countries. You've got the President himself talking to world leaders about not only investing in the U.S., but facilitating American access to foreign markets. Can you talk a little bit about your perspective of the tools that trade makes available to address these barriers, and maybe some of I know you've been heavily involved in a lot of the discussions that are underway around the world, ranging from Korea to Taiwan and beyond. So you have your partners at USTR that are negotiating, but you have a big role to play in that as well. So what are you seeing out there as far as the barriers to U.S. company success around the world that you're hearing about the most? And what are some of the tools that you're looking to deploy to help address some of those challenges, trade or otherwise?
Yeah, sure. So We have an office within ITA that is focused specifically on non-tariff barriers and the challenges that our companies face in overseas markets. And they work with USTR, our great partners at USTR, to put together, we literally have a 400-page foreign trade barriers report. It's put out by USTR with great support from ITA, where it goes country by country and identifies these non-tariff barriers. And it's been an honor to work alongside Secretary Lutnick and Ambassador Greer as we pursue these trade negotiations with foreign countries. And a lot of times countries will particularly, last year they would come and say, well, what do you want? Like, what do you want to see us do? And I've seen Ambassador Greer take out this non-tariff barrier book and just throw it on the table. He said, well, here's a start. And so take a look at this. And so it's sort of understood what the challenges our companies face and presented in that format. But it's really helpful to hear from American companies who are seeing these challenges abroad. Because, I mean, a lot of these issues only come up when our companies say, hey, we're trying to export here and we're facing these challenges that they don't face locally. So it's really working with companies to understand these challenges, because we want our companies to be successful abroad, and that engagement with companies and understanding and communication as to what the issues they're facing are, that's pivotal to the work we're doing.
Wow. So the kernel that I want to pull out of that is that the NTE comment filings that USTR does, where they gather information from industry to compile, that really matters. Mm-hmm. I mean, these filings are complicated. They're long and drawn out. I think our ITI's filing this year, I think, was 85 pages long. But I think it's really important. I want to emphasize that. It matters, because USTR and Commerce are taking that information, is what I'm hearing you say, and using it in conversations with foreign governments to identify barriers to trade that industry has raised. So it actually is, it's incredibly important.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not like the process where we get comments and they just go into a portal and are never read. This is valuable information that we use in our discussions with foreign governments, and so absolutely appreciate any company that is willing to share with us what they're seeing on the ground and the issues we can do to help make things more efficient for U.S. companies.
That's great. I want to ask a practical, maybe some practice advice about how your team is disseminated around the world and how industry has an opportunity to engage with them. So if I'm a tech company trying to do business in Japan or in Germany or in the Philippines, I have an opportunity to talk to team members of yours, either in many cases directly in the country or in the US. Just as a practical matter, can you tell us how the team is deployed around the world, and how you would advise a company looking for help or looking for input or looking to raise a concern, how they should go about doing that?
Yeah, so we have, like I said, we have the U.S. Commercial Service. They are spread out throughout the country. I think, I don't have the exact number, I think we have over 70 locations and people throughout the country. These people are sort of embedded in their communities, and they work with the local companies, and also, big companies who are facing issues on a local level, they work through them. And then we have our Foreign Commercial Service that is spread out throughout the world. These are Department of Commerce employees who work in ITA, and I think they're in 160 different locations, thereabouts, and they're in priority markets that we want to focus on. But absolutely, companies can, of course, reach out through us through Washington, and we can absolutely connect people. But what I've found is having these resources throughout the world, throughout the country, throughout the world, they develop these relationships where they have business relationships in country or in these communities in the U.S., and they work with their business folks. And again, on this, they could call up and say, I'm facing this issue, and they do it on a local level. They can report that through DC, or sometimes they connect. Our U.S. Commercial Service will connect directly with the Foreign Commercial Service officer in that country and help bring solutions. So really, we're a resource for companies, and absolutely, I encourage every company to think of the Department of Commerce and ITA as a resource with the issues you're facing.
That's great. That's very helpful. I want to talk about kind of the roadmap for administration priorities and your priorities, the Secretary's priorities for 2026. You've talked a lot in our prior engagements about the importance of the tools that commerce has available to address some of the challenges that the U.S. companies face around the world, while at the same time encouraging investment here in the U.S. There are obviously a number of trade tools available. USTR has investigations that it opens occasionally into various industries under various provisions. There are obviously trade negotiations. I mentioned the president just yesterday apparently had a great phone call with Prime Minister Modi in India, moving that forward, reducing tariffs on India while encouraging Indian investment in the U.S. A lot of tools available. And trade negotiations kind of traditionally have been where this has all happened, but President Trump moves a little faster than a lot of those trade deals traditionally move, so a lot of other tools being deployed. Can you give us a sense of what's coming up in the coming months that we should be paying attention to? And you can do it geographically or by issue, however you choose. But what should we be looking for coming out of commerce and ITA more specifically as you continue to use all the tools that you have available, and there are a lot of them, to advance U.S. economic interests?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the big one, obviously, as you mentioned, we've had a lot of big announcements on these trade deals and now a lot of these have massive, massive investment commitments in them. And so we at ITA are working to turn those massive investment commitments into actual outcomes in the United States. And we're talking, over $1 trillion of committed investment.
How do you do that?
We basically have, thankfully, a very strong leader at the Department of Commerce, Secretary Lutnick, who is driving these massive projects. And we within ITA are supporting those efforts. And as we see these projects come online, sort of making sure it's not just tracking the investments of the companies, but really working with the companies and being a resource for them and bringing these projects to fruition as quickly as possible. So that's certainly something we're focused on. Is having the deals are fantastic, but really it's the outcomes that we care about, and that's really what we're working on in 2026 and beyond.
Interesting. You mentioned, or I mentioned, that we're going to India together. Not together. We're
I'll see you
each
there.
going to. I'll see you there. Yeah. Sorry. Roll tape. Take two. I mentioned that we are each going to India for the AI Summit. Can you share a little bit about what you and the U.S. delegation, which I understand consists of your counterparts and colleagues from OSTP, from Commerce, from State, what are you hoping happens there? What do you hope is accomplished there? What do you think? It's interesting. This is the third one. We had London, which was, I think, very focused on the AI is going to kill you message. We had Paris, which I think turned in a more positive direction. And now we have India, which obviously wants to put itself on the stage for AI. What are you hoping comes out of it, and what are you hoping to do there?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to going. We will have a strong U.S. presence there. From Commerce, myself and my counterpart in BIS, Jeff Kessler, will be there. And really, I think, as you talk about sort of iterations of it, if we think of where AI is versus where it was in those prior versions of the event, like we have a greater understanding now. And really, from a commerce perspective, but like I said, we work on this AI export program with OSTP and with State, and really just helping to deliver the message that, the American tech stack, we want it as successful as possible. We want to send it overseas and just, helping to showcase what we have to offer and just have those communications. We're in India, but of course there are many governments there, and just talking with folks there and just showcasing what American tech has to offer and what the U.S. government under President Trump and Secretary Lutnick are doing to support it.
That's great. Yeah, I was being somewhat tongue-in-cheek about the prior iterations of the U.S. presence at these events, but I do think it's a very significant tone change, as you alluded to, that the U.S. is bringing to these summits, and it's migrated over time, and it's gotten a lot better. And we appreciate the focus on the excitement about AI and all it means for the U.S. And obviously the Trump administration, as you noted, is very focused on encouraging the success of AI around the world. So this is an important opportunity and a strong showing for the U.S. government and in India to do that. Let me ask you to leave us with a practice tip. You mentioned that industry is important, and I appreciate that, to providing input into everything that you're doing. As you're looking to accomplish all of this, what is the single most important thing that the industry can do to be helpful to you in the input we provide, the engagement we provide, looking ahead to 2026 and all that is to come. What are you looking for most from us?
Yeah, I mean, information is helpful, and I mean that in the way that, there are headlines, there are what perceptions of what should be happening, but if I hear from a company that says, like, I know this is what, we support what you're doing, I know you secured this issue, but, like, let me tell you what we're actually seeing on the ground, that is invaluable information, and really having those specific examples as we engage with foreign counterparts, those are really powerful, where I can say, company X told me this is happening, because you have a lot of these issues, and they're non-tariff barriers, and we're not going to solve everything immediately. But if I can say, I'm hearing from this company that this is happening, that's something that a foreign counterpart could take back very quickly, and we could see very quickly if they're serious about cooperating or not. So having those specific examples coming in, saying, this is what we're seeing on the ground, we know what the policy is, but let me tell you what we're seeing on the business side, that is just crucial information for us to have.
Well, and speaking on behalf of the tech industry in particular, it's helpful and refreshing to have you on our side in helping advance all those important issues and helping us do what we do best. So thank you for all the work that you and your team at Commerce do, and thank you for joining us today.
Great, thank you, and thank you to ITI.
All right, thank you. Undersecretary William Kimmitt.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
That's great.
Fantastic.